Y'all, when I tell you that I'm now 1,000% certain that God is determined to squeeze all of the wisdom that he can out of this daggone canvas and these daggone pens, I mean it, okay? Now, y'all know I just came back from the stove, okay? I just posted a video a couple of weeks ago, sharing some wisdom about the last chronicles of the pen escapades that I just had, right? I have to drive a 3-hour round trip to get some pens, okay? So when I got my pens, I got what? 1 red one and 3 blue ones, right? Now, I've been working with these pens for a long time, okay? I mostly use this one, okay? Because y'all know I've been working on this painting. It's called Awake. Y'all know that I use the pens to try to get tedious detail in the line work. Trying to get the best angle so you can see it, right? I also use this color. I did a different size, but this color in Miscalculated, okay? I did this entire painting in pen work except for the numbers. This entire thing is made out of pens, right? So when I say that I felt like I understood the shelf life of these pens, I mean it, okay? I mean it. So you can cool believe that I was confused when the pens were burning out really fast, right? Now to give you context for this story, this is the biggest canvas I've ever done. I can't think of what size it is, but I'm 5'3", and me and this thing are almost the same size, so take it how you want to take it. And so while I'm doing the gears, now it's hard, I don't know how well you can see how much of the gears are done, right? But I have to do 2 layers for the gears, okay? I gotta do the outline, and then I gotta do this second set, right? So I'm doing the gears, and while I'm doing the gears, the red pen randomly stops working. And I'm shaking it, thinking I still hear ink in it. So I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, why is this pen burning out so fast? Like, why is it drying up? There's still ink in here, right? And because of the headspace that I was already in when this was happening about another situation, I was just like, F it. I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to move on to the blue pens. This is Uni Posca. Now, this brand does not last as long as the Molotov brand, but I love this one because I like the vibrant colors, right? So while I'm working on the internal part of the gears, this pen does the same damn thing. And I'm sitting here like, God, quit playing with me. I just bought these pens. Now, to be honest, I'm shaking the pen thinking I can still hear the ink. Now with the Molotov ones, the ink is really, really thin, so it's easy to miss when it runs out of ink, but I'm thinking I still hear ink in the pen. So I'm thinking that there's something wrong with the actual brush, the actual tip. I'm thinking it's like drying out for no reason. But again, I was already frustrated about another situation, and I was like, I don't have the energy to spare to care and be mad about the situation. So I kept going. I burned through 3 of these pens in about 2-3 hours, so much so that by the time I got to the 3rd one, I was like, wait a minute. I don't think these are drying out because there's something wrong with the pen. Because I'm thinking maybe I just got a bad batch, especially after the last pen. Because if you've seen the last video I did, I thought that pen has stopped working randomly, but it still had a lot of ink in it, right? This one, I started to realize it's not because there's a bad batch. It's because it's running out of ink. And it took me a minute to realize that. And so once I realized that with these blue pens, right, I investigated my red pens, okay? This is the pen that I think still has ink in it. Hear that noise? Hear that rattle? Okay. This is a pen that I haven't used at all. Notice how you don't hear anything. And so then that's when I realized, okay, so it's not that the pens are messed up. It's that they're running out of ink. But I'm sitting here confused because I'm looking at this canvas. Again, pay attention to the canvas. I'm looking at this canvas like, but I barely did anything because I'm looking at all this black space, okay? I'm looking at all this black space. I'm looking at, yeah, okay, so I wrote these times because I'm using the characters from the Matrix to, do the different details or whatever. But I'm thinking I barely use the pens. I'm thinking the font is really tiny. And I barely really used the pen to do anything. I'm thinking, why are they running out so fast? Like, to me, I'm not even kidding when I say I was legitimately confused about why the pens were running out as fast as they were. And then I'm looking at the blue. Again, look at how much black is on the canvas, okay? There's maybe a handful of, I'm trying to do this in selfie mode, sorry guys. There's maybe like, I probably have maybe 5 of these gears completely painted all the way in, but it's mostly black. Sorry, trying to do it in selfie mode. And so I'm like, again, I'm feeling like I've gone through now 3 or 4 blue pens, and I'm like, I've barely used any ink. Why are the pens running out so fast? And at some point, because I was going through the same issue in real life, because like I said, it's real interesting how whatever I'm going through in real life is always going to manifest in one of my creative projects. If it don't manifest, it's usually going to manifest in my painting, because I feel like the painting is the one that gets my attention the most. Because when I tell you I be kicking and screaming with this painting, I mean, when I tell you we be boxing and hugging at the same time, it's ridiculous. But most of the time, whatever it is that I'm going through in real life is going to manifest in one of the canvases that I'm working on. And if it don't manifest this way, it'll probably manifest in like my blog or my book or something like that. But because I was dealing with this issue of not giving myself enough credit about how much work I was doing, I realized that I was doing to this canvas exactly what I do to myself in real life. In real life, I am exhausted. I'm so damn tired. It's ridiculous. I mean, when I say I'm tired on every spectrum, I'm tired mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Like I'm so overworked. But every day I get up and I feel like my body be like, ma'am, if you could sit down, that would be wonderful. And every day I'm like, yeah, but no, but you haven't finished this, or you haven't finished that, or for me, it's not even that I haven't finished these projects, it's that I'm not where I want to be in life. You know, I haven't secured myself in where I want to be financially. And so because I'm not where I want to be financially, I still feel like, well, there's a lot of work to be done. You don't have time to be tired. Like you don't have time to be empty. Okay. It doesn't matter that at some point it's going to empty. You don't have time to be tired. Like you don't have time to want to stop and take a break. Like you need to keep going. Like, and so I realized that, you know, I was doing to this canvas exactly what I do to myself in real life, where I'm paying so close attention to what I haven't accomplished that I wasn't paying attention to what I had accomplished. And then I wasn't taking into account how much time and energy it takes me to accomplish what I have accomplished. Because doing one gear, let me tell you something. First, I got to make stencils. Okay. Then I have to cut them out with an X-Acto knife, which is painful for the fingers. Okay. Then I have to put them on the canvas, paint it black, paint the background black, put the outline on it, and then I literally be playing Dancing with the Stars with this canvas. I'm not exaggerating. I literally play Dancing with the Stars with this canvas because I have to be moving the canvas. First it's got to be on the wall, then it's got to be on the floor, then I got to flip it upside down, and I literally was on the floor like this trying to put the detail on the canvas because I gotta be at all kind of awkward positions to get the detail and the line work for the details for the line work on this canvas. Like on average, I probably work 2 to 4 hours in one session, and by the end of that session, I'd be exhausted. This is literally me. I kid you not. Once I finish, you know, one of my painting sessions, because I work myself so hard that I'd be exhausted. And I was like, at some point I had to get put on my ass because on Saturday, I, God literally had to sit my ass down. Okay. Something happened on Saturday that pushed my already in the negative self completely over the edge. And I yelled and screamed at God in a way that I had never yelled and screamed at God before, because I was just so tired and I was so over it. And I was like, God, I don't have any more to give. I don't have it, you know? And I, because I thought he was asking me to give him more. And I was like, I don't have it to give. And like, when I tell you I went in on Buddy, I went in on Buddy, and he was like, great. I'm so glad that you have finally realized that you are at your wit's end. And I'm so glad that you have finally acknowledged yourself that you have finally acknowledged that you need to take a break. Because, if you recall, ma'am, I told you to take a break weeks ago. And I was like, you did. You did tell me to take, oh. I mean, Buddy was literally like, I am not the one pushing you this hard. You're pushing yourself this hard. You out here mad at me talking about why you keep cracking the whip. Ma'am, look at your hand. You are the one with the whip in your hand. I ain't cracking nothing. And I feel like I got to this point with this canvas and in my life where I had to realize I need to learn how to give myself more credit for the amount of work that I do. I work really hard, and as I'm sure a lot of people do. This is not like a, ooh, look at me, but I'm just, saying, I work really hard. I get up every day. I'm focused. I'm driven. I know what I need to do. I know how I need to execute it. If I'm not working on the blog, then I'm working on the book. And if I ain't working on the book, then I'm working on the paintings, or whatever. I'm always working and hustling. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm in warfare mode, because God always has me praying for somebody. And that by itself takes way more energy than I really thought it did. Like, I feel like only recently did I realize how much work it takes to fight and pray on behalf of somebody else or whatever. So between all this, like, I work really hard. I don't give myself credit for any of that, because I'm like, I mean, it's Tuesday. Like, that's life. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking into account, like, that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of energy. And it makes sense that at some point you're going to run out of ink. And it doesn't do you any good to know that you're tired. Don't be like me. To know that you're tired and still keep pushing yourself and still keep cracking the whip and still keep being like, well, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough, because I'm the type of person. Let me tell you something. You see this whole canvas? I will either do one or two things. I will either do one or two things. I will either look at this whole canvas and pay attention to what I haven't done on a large scale, or I'll do this mess here. I come in right here. You see this one right here? And I'll be like, oh, well, this is so small. It shouldn't take that much work. And I will pay attention to how small this piece is, Lord Jesus. I will pay attention to how small this piece is, and I will automatically dismiss and discount how much work it takes to even do that little gear. These little gears, they're a little easier than the big gears, but these hoes still take a lot of work. Okay. But for me, that doesn't matter. I pay attention to the size of it, and I'm like, oh, you should be able to knock that out. And I feel like I always have these unrealistic expectations of what I feel like I should have the capacity for. I got mad at these pens because they ran out of ink, because I felt like that they should be able to do more. But how can you do more if there's nothing in there? You know what I'm saying? How can I be more? How can I do more if I've run out? If I've done all I can do and tried to be all I can be, and at the end of the day, I'm out here like this, there's no reason why I should be like, you heathen, you. Why are you laying on the floor? How dare you have the nerve to be exhausted after working all day? After praying and painting and writing and whatever else and studying, because I study stories to help me write stories. But how dare you? How dare you have the unmitigated gall to be a normal human being and be tired? You see how stupid that sounds? I am a human being, okay, with an energy level that is completely depleted at this point. So I wanted to encourage someone, don't be like me. Don't get some pens and decide to be mad at the pens because the pens have run out of ink, because they did what they were supposed to be doing, and you're mad because they can't do more than they had the capacity to. Don't be like me, okay? Give yourself some credit, okay? Give yourself some credit. And if you're having a hard time giving yourself credit, because I actually had to start developing what I guess you could call an exercise. I don't really like to call it an exercise because that sounds corny and cliche to me, but for the sake of lack of a better word or phrase, exercises where I actually started to think through the entire process of what I have to do. I started paying attention to how much work does it really take to do one gear? How much ink because I'm probably gonna have to go back to Blick or whatever. But I know now not to just buy 1 red one and 3 blue ones. I now know I probably need 2 or 3 red ones, and I probably need 5 or 6 blue ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started doing small things like celebrating my small victories. If you follow me on Instagram at The Creative Vessel, you know, occasionally I try to post, you know, a little video of me dancing, celebrating a small victory. And I don't always talk about what the small victory is, but I did get to a point where I noticed that I stay so much more sane when I celebrate the small victories. Okay, when I finish a section. So when I did this one, because this gear right here is one of my favorite ones. I don't know why. I think I just like the design of it. But when I finished this one, I got excited over this gear right here. It's not even finished yet. But I was so excited about the design and the fact that I had done the stencil right and applied it through correctly that I got excited over that one gear. I mean, I stared at that one gear for a good... for a good 15-20 minutes because I was so excited about the way that gear was coming out. I mean, even this one right here, you know, I sent this one to my baby sis because I was so excited about the way that it turned out, because that's what all the gears are going to look like. Like, learn to celebrate the small victories, because if you don't celebrate the small victories, then by the time you get to the big victory, it's not even going to feel like a victory. You're just going to be on the floor like this, just happy that it's over, and you won't even really get to celebrate the fact that you finished. You know, you won't even get to take it in because you'll be so burnt out and so tired, probably somewhat bitter and resentful of how much work the project took, that you, by the time you get to the finish line, you won't even get to enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they live for that big moment at the end. Yeah, but that's not living life. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something about this canvas. I've had the canvas since October 2019. It took me, miscalculated took 8 months. I've been working on my sci-fi fantasy novel for February makes 4 years. Who knows how long it's going to take me to finish some of these projects? I would never get to enjoy any parts of my life if I waited until I got to the end. When I take on a project, most of my projects are long term. Like, I have a very narrow focus and I will ride till the wheels fall off to finish something. But if I only wait until the end to celebrate, you know, the fact that to celebrate, never mind the fact that if I wait to the end to celebrate, then what the hell was the rest of that time for? I mean, that's like walking around trying to be a zombie for 3-4 years until you finish something, and then and then that big moment at the end is so fleeting. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, you might feel accomplished, and, you know, yeah, it's like, woo, 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 you know, I finished writing my book after, you know, working on it for 4 years, but that moment is so fleeting. You don't make memories off the one big moment. You make memories off of, y'all, I have to keep going back to the stove to buy me more pens. You know, you make small victories off of, ooh, I really like how this painting is coming out. You know, you make small victories off of, this was a commission piece that I did. And the thing that I loved about that specific painting was that it taught me a lot about my style so that I could do this piece on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn to celebrate the small victories, okay? Because one, that will bring so much more joy into your life, to celebrate the small milestones. That's one. Two, celebrating the small victories keeps you up to date on your progress. It keeps you up to date on how much you've accomplished, how much you've produced. And, you know, one of the other things that I like to do for life, because that's, you know, a project thing, but for life, I like to think about where I was 6 months ago. And let me tell you something. When I think about every time I have ever thought about where I was 6 months ago, I'll be like, baby, your girl is almost brand new, okay? Like, because I know that I've gone through a lot. Like, I think about, where was my focus 6 months ago? What was I thinking 6 months ago? Where was my mental? Where was my emotional? And when I think about where I was 6 months ago, your girl was drowning, okay? Your girl was a zombie and was limping along, and now 6 months later, I feel more focused, more driven, more motivated than I have in a really long time. Sometimes I think about where I was a year from now. I mean, even talent wise, I think about where I was before Miscalculated, where I was before I did this Steelers commission piece, and what I'm doing now. One of the reasons why I get to enjoy the painting that I'm doing now as much as I do, now that we're currently friends, because, we got a love-hate relationship, but that's neither here nor there. But one of the reasons why I get to enjoy this painting as much as I do is because this is the first painting that I went to feeling like this version of the painting. It's the first time I went into it feeling like I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm doing it. I know why I'm doing it. I understand my sense of color better. And it's because I've had small victories over the years, and I've had small victories over the moments or whatever. So, I really just wanted to encourage someone. One, give yourself some credit. Okay? Give yourself some credit. If you're having a hard time, giving yourself some credit, think in tedious detail how much work it takes you to do whatever it is that you do. If you're a mom, think about everything, because I know moms barely ever give themselves any credit. Think about what all goes into you being a mom. I just posted a video the other day celebrating parents, because I was like, y'all are heroes. The way that y'all not only take care of yourselves, but y'all have the energy and the strength after getting off your job to take care of another little human being. Okay? Think about everything that goes into you being a parent. If you're feeling like you're not doing enough, you're not giving enough, you're not going enough, you're not whatever, think about everything that you do as a parent. Okay? If it's a project, think about everything that goes into that project. If it's a business, or it's a moment, or it's a relationship, if you're in a relationship and you feel like you're not giving enough, or you're not doing enough, or whatever, think about everything that goes into that relationship. Write it down. Because for me, I need to see what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I like to write things down. Like when I really feel like I'm not doing enough, I write down every single thing that goes into it. And I'll be like, well, I'll be damned. That's a lot. So one, give yourself some credit. Two, if you are exhausted, please listen to your body. Don't be like me, okay? Don't be like me and wake up and be like, it doesn't matter that I'm freaking exhausted. I have to go 1,000% today because I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm going to get there, okay? I'm going to get there, but I'm not going to get there if I die in the process, okay? If your pen has run out of ink, accept the fact. Don't be in denial. Accept the fact that your pen has run out of ink, okay? Be honest with yourself about the fact that you're tired. 2, 3, take a break, okay? Take a break. It's not a bad thing that you need to take a break. And hell, I'm talking to me too on this, because this is a more recent issue. So half of this video is still for present and future me, okay? I'm pot, kettle black. I'm still in recovery. I'm still learning. So, we in this together, okay? But, take a break. It's not a bad thing that you need to take a break. It's not a bad thing. And a lot of times taking a break, I always get so much more work done after I've taken a break. Like once I started dialing back my workload, I was getting so much more work done because I didn't have that pressure that I used to have before. So I learned that taking breaks actually fuels me and gives me more energy to do more than I would have done if I would have just kept killing myself and killing myself and killing myself. Now I'm a machine, so I'm gonna get mine done at an excellent level regardless. But is it really necessary though? No, it's not. And one of these days I'm gonna learn that. But that's really it though. I really just wanted to encourage someone. Give yourself some credit, okay? Give yourself some credit. Take a realistic inventory of where your battery power is. And if you have realized, acknowledged, and know that you're exhausted, take a freaking break. Because trust me, no one is pushing themselves more than you. And for me, I always felt like God was the one that was pushing me and pushing me and pushing me until he was like, look at your hand. You are the only one holding a whip, okay? You are the only one out here. You are more upset about what you have deemed a flaw than I am, okay? Because I'll be looking at a personality trait and I'm like, oh my God, I'm horrible. And God be like, who told you were horrible? Because I didn't tell you were horrible. And matter of fact, if you would move that word flaw out the way, I could show you how that personality trait is actually not a bad thing. It's actually something that I had planned on using to get you further in life. So if you would stop mislabeling yourself, you could be much further in life. But that is a rant for another day. So that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to encourage someone. And yeah, you know, I guess the chronicles of the pen escapades, and this painting will continue. I still got a long way to go on this painting, so I'm sure that I will be back on here with another story. And you know, yeah. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of y'all's day, I guess.